The Angry Marks Podcast Network is brought to you by WrestleWork, a social network to connect, create, and share everything about pro wrestling. Check it out today at WrestleWork.com. The Angry Marks Podcast Network is brought to you by WrestleWork, a social network to connect, create, and share everything about pro wrestling. Check it out today at WrestleWork.com.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Drew, you back with us, buddy?
I am back, and I have talked to him, and hopefully he will be calling in just a second.
Excellent, excellent. So I've run down about 100 different things that you got coming up. Can you give our listeners your social media so that way they can follow your career?
Of course. Twitter is at Dru Skillz, DRUSKILLZ. And then my website is coming soon. It's under construction right now at DruSkillz.com. And then I'm on the Facebook at Dru Skillz as well. And I believe I have an Instagram, but I don't know what that is. Dru Skillz 1, I think.
Well, and I have your T-shirt, and it says 1 of 6. When is 2 of 6 coming out?
1 of 5, and 2 of 5 will be here no later than Heroes and Legends 5.
So July 25th, we need to look for it.
It will definitely be here by then if I haven't had a chance to unveil it before then.
And who draws that T-shirt for you?
Chad Engel. Chad Engel is a very talented artist. He draws those. He came up with I came up with the concept, the idea, and he nailed it, man.
Well, and you can find him on Facebook and Instagram, The Art of Chad Engel, and that's Engle. Chad Engel. He's another member of Beards and Zubaz.
I'm going to have to give me some Zubaz.
That you definitely do, because you already have the beard.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna see what I can do.
Excellent, excellent. So what have you been up to outside of the wrestling world?
Man, that's about it. I just live life Monday through Friday like everybody else and pay bills, and then I feel like when I really spring alive is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, man, when I'm in the ring.
Yo.
Is this Mr. Appollo Starr?
Indeed it is, sir. How you doing?
I am doing so well. This is Zane, the Bearded Wonder from the Undisputed Wrestling Show. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you this evening?
I'm good, man. I'm doing all right.
Well, excellent. You just missed a great conversation with Mr. 1859, Cliff Compton. Is there another person on the line as well?
There is. He done spoiled the surprise coming on late. I guest hosted tonight. I've been on here. We had a great conversation with Cliff Compton. Been waiting on my tag partner to get on here with us. And it's been your 26 minutes. Ain't nothing changed, man. You're always late.
I had some things I had to take care of, man. It's my bad.
There was something more important than the Undisputed Wrestling Show. I find that hard to believe.
I know it's hard to imagine, man. I know it's hard to imagine.
Well, what's up, champ? How are you this evening?
I'm good, man. How's it going for you?
Oh, I am doing excellent. We were talking with Mr. Dru Skillz about all the different championships that he owns. So why don't you let our listeners know what all different championships you currently possess?
I just hold 2 championships. I hold the NEW Tag Team Championships and the World Wrestling Tag Team Champions with my partner, Dru Skillz.
Well, and
yeah,
your self-proclaimed Strong Style Wrestling Champions, too, correct?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the Strong Style Tag titles because the promotion won't give us our belts. So sometimes you forget about that.
Do we have
holding off on the belts? I don't know why. You seem to be holding off on the belts.
Do we need to contact Mike Smith and have him get on that for you?
Breaking up a little bit, but what'd you say?
Do we need to contact Mike Smith to get him to get you some championship belts?
I'm saying maybe your contacting him will work better than our contact. We've been on him for about those belts for a minute, right, Drew?
Yeah, I think we need to start a petition. Get the Soul Shooters the tag team titles.
Yeah, man. Get us our Strong Style tag titles.
Well, earlier tonight, earlier tonight I plugged the Indie Power Rankings for the tag teams, where you guys are neck and neck for that. You guys have won that before, correct?
Yeah, I believe it's 3 or 4 times we've been the people's champion.
Yeah, I think 4 different.
Which is real important because that's the fan vote. You know what I mean? Support of the fans is important.
Well, and that's kind of a huge deal because that's, you're taking on teams like the Young Bucks, and so these nationally known guys, and you guys are getting these fan votes more than them. That's a pretty huge honor. What do you have to say to your fans about that?
It's a big deal, man. It's good to be supported, especially in this business. It's hard for people. I mean, it's hard to keep support. It's easy for people to forget about you. You know what I mean? To have a core group of fans that are always out there pulling for you and supporting you is a big deal.
Now, Apollo, how many times have you been on this show? Is this your 3rd or 4th time on there?
I think it's my 3rd time on here.
Excellent. So,
if I'm not mistaken, I think it's about the 3rd time.
Drew, how many times have you been on?
I think this is number 5, right?
Sounds about right. Are you guys still jealous of Troy Miller? I think he's been on 8 times now.
Has it been 8 already?
It's either 7 or 8.
Then I'm pretty sure this is 6 or 7 for me.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're just one behind him. We appreciate you guys coming on. So who's the better tag team partner, Apollo? Is Drew the better tag team partner or Remy?
Well, I mean, Drew's my tag team partner. Remy and I, we got some business going, and we do some things, and we're developing a tag. We developed a tag team because we've also wrestled each other, and we have a mutual respect for each other. So we've been able to develop something that's not our tag team. My tag team partner is Dru Skillz. You know what I mean? I'm a soul shooter first. You know what I mean?
Nice. So are you guys all road partners then too? Do you guys travel together? Yeah, we get on the road together. Well, we're in the Circle City Collabo. We do that at Strong Style and a couple other places. So that's the main thing. I mean, I like teaming with Remy too. We've done well together, but my main partner is Drew. So when you and Drew are on the road together, who's driving and who's navigating?
It just depends. We switch it up.
Most importantly, who's controlling the stereo?
We switch that up too. So we have some road favorites that pretty much we ride out with. So
what's your favorite road favorite then?
I like hip hop. I'm a hip hop guy. I'm a 90s, late 80s hip hop guy. So from that era, I'm a New York guy, so I like KRS-One and Nas and Wu-Tang and Big Daddy Kane and those cats.
Very nice. What about you, Drew?
A lot of the same, man, but I like a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? When I was in the gyms in high school and stuff like that, I heard a whole lot of 80s rock and roll. So I like some 80s rock and roll too. But, we usually, he's been a little modest about the who drives. Usually I'll be the one to start driving. So so he do the navigating. But no, we got, like I said, we got a little travel mix that we listen to, and a lot of times that by the time we get there, we've listened to it a couple different times.
Right.
Well, Apollo, Stevie J from Angry Marks Podcast Network is on our chat room, and he is a huge hip hop head, and he says that you have good taste. So you're Stevie J approved. So
cool.
Now we know
works for me,
that Dru Skillz is going to be taking on Bushwhacker Luke this coming Friday in Valparaiso, Indiana, and he plans to cripple him before the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Who are you taking on this weekend?
I'll be wrestling Owen Travers in the #1 contenders match.
Well, what do you have in store for him?
Well, back cracking, neck stretching, more better wrestling lessons. It's the same thing I got in store for everybody.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, Owen Travers he's a good young wrestler. He comes from around the Detroit area. He's been making a good name for himself, and he works hard. And he'll be a tough opponent, but I intend to beat him.
now I am super excited for July 25th at Heroes and Legends in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Apollo, you and Remy Wilkins are going to be taking on Knobs and Sags, the Nasty Boys. Are you detoxifying yourself in your nostrils, getting ready for their nasty armpits? What are you doing to get ready for these guys?
I'm just training, man. My intention is to not see no parts of their armpits. You know what I mean? I plan to drop a bomb on Nastyville and clean that place up a little something. That's my intention.
Well, one of the things that I think about when I think of the Nasty Boys, they had an awesome fight with Cactus Jack and Max Moon back in WCW for the WCW Tag Team Championship, where they fought into the concession stand. Now, I've been to the ice rink that the Heroes and Legends is going to be at. I know that they have concession stands. Are you ready to take them on with popcorn tubs, cold soda fountain drinks, all that sort of thing?
I'm ready to do whatever it takes to win that match, but my forte is in the ring. If I have it my way, I'll keep them inside square circle and do my thing in there. I'll try to stay away from the concession stand. That ain't really my area. You know what I'm saying? That's not my plan to be going out there.
I do know what you're saying. This is the Angry Marks Podcast Network. This is the Undisputed Wrestling Show, brought to you by WrestleWork.com and TshirtWorldOrder.com. Use the code Domino in all caps when you check out. You'll save a few dollars there. I'm going to kick it over to the War Tag Team Champion and the Heroes and Legends Champion, Dru Skillz. What do you have for your partner in the Soul Shooters, Appollo Starr?
Bro, let me ask you, what are, I get asked this question a lot, and we've been asked, a couple of different times, but who are some of the guys that we've worked with over the years that, you stick out in your mind and you wouldn't mind working with again, or just that you had a great time working with back then?
I loved the Detroit guys, the different versions of the Michigan Invasion. Had a lot of fun working with them. Just recently we've been in a pretty good program with the Scarbonis. I like working with the Scarbonis a lot. We watched them come up through the rankings and become a real good tag team. American History Next out in Wisconsin, I liked working with them. I felt like we had a good rhythm with them. Like working with the Naptown Dragons, the couple different groups of Naptown Dragons were fun to work with. I mean, I like working with a lot of people, man. I like getting it. I love wrestling.
I think when we were on here before, we kind of talked about how we got together and that whole trip to Atlanta for NWA Wildside. But tell everybody how you broke into the business before the Soul Shooters.
Well, I started training a little bit out in New York. There was a guy, he was a manager, his name Vinny Ferrari, and I was trying to get into the business, and he knew I was trying to get in the business, so he was trying to help me. And I trained a little bit out there. I had a match on Don Adams' Penn York Wrestling. It's out in York, Pennsylvania. And I had a match with Alvin Soul. It's a tag team called the Soul Brothers. They were a takeoff the Blues Brothers. Had my first match out there, and then I came into Indianapolis seeking more training, and I got with a guy named Jimmy Kilkia. He wrestled as Jimmy Jackhammer for a while out here, and he trained me a little bit. And then I ran into Drake Younger, Scotty Vortex, and Clifton Crunk at an IPW show, actually the first IPW show. IPW was a promotion used to run out here in Indianapolis. I believe they just stopped running about 2 years ago. And I went to their first show, and somebody didn't make it for their show, for their match. And they came to me, and, the first thing you get told is bring your bag everywhere you go. I was sitting out in the crowd, and they brought me in, and I had my second match here in Indianapolis, and started training with American Kickboxer, and was out on the road, pretty much wrestling and training. We would go on Tuesday nights, and we would train at HWA, and then we'd work on their show, and then we'd go home, and then we'd go to Evansville on Wednesday, and we'd train in the ring all day, and then we'd work on their show Wednesday night, and we would go to Jimmy's Gym on Thursday nights, and then Friday and Saturday we worked shows, and that was my schedule for like 2 years. And that's how I met Dru out at HWA when we first started going out there.
Well, hey, can I throw something in there about IPW, Insanity Pro Wrestling? You had mentioned Drake Younger, who our listeners will probably know as NXT referee Drake Wirtz, or as King of the Deathmatch. He's just an amazing guy. Scotty Vortex worked there. Jimmy Jacobs, who we have on in a few weeks. John Moxley, who's now known as Dean Ambrose. He's one of the biggest stars in the world right now. All those guys went through IPW when you were going through, correct?
Right. Yeah.
That's quite a pedigree to be able to work with those guys and come up with those guys.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, we all trained together. We learned the business together, and like Kickboxer would take us out to HWA to get us around a bunch of guys who were like-minded, and get us. When we were first coming up, it was kind of hard to find some. I don't know. There were a lot of shows with a lot of wrestlers who weren't so good. Whatever, shit. There's a lot of wrestlers who weren't good. Frank would take us out to HWA where everybody was well trained and good, and give us a wrestling atmosphere, teach us how to be, around the wrestling business, and it was a real good time. You know what I mean? We all learned the business the same way. It was a good deal.
Hey, Dru, I'm gonna cut in real quick. I wanted to ask both of you guys to tell us a little about Jarhead Performance Athletics.
Well, I don't really know a whole lot about them, other than they sponsored our cage match at War 12, their 12th anniversary show. They had a bunch of different sponsors, and they were the sponsor for our cage match that night.
Well, that's awesome. And Apollo, you're going to be taking part in the first ever World's Finest Wrestling here in Indianapolis coming up. Can you tell us about that? That's April 11th. And I know that you're going to be tagging with Remy Wilkins that night. Can you tell us about that event?
Yeah, it's going to be the first ever World's Finest Wrestling show. The first show for the World's Finest Wrestling promotion, and it'll be me and Remy in their tag team tournament on April 11th, and we're looking forward to it.
Have you been told?
I think our first, Jared Harris and Kyle Maverick will be our first opponent in the first round. Excellent,
and there's going to be guys like Jack Thriller there, who we mentioned earlier. Totali is going to be there with his manager Kinsey Alexander, and big star Jimmy Jacobs from Ring of Honor is going to be there as well that night.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting show. Actually, even sooner than that, I got on the 14th I got Emerge Wrestling, and I'll be wrestling at Emerge on the 14th this Saturday. I got that coming up, and that's pretty exciting. That's my debut in that promotion, and I've been hearing a lot about them, so I'm really psyched up about that, right? Too. Yeah, Columbus, Indiana, or actually Seymour, Indiana is where they're running.
Okay. Yeah, I think I saw at their last show that they got over 400 people at that show. That's great for a local.
Yeah, they're doing really well. So it's always cool to have a good promotion that's close by, and so I'm really excited about going in there. They're being kind of tight-lipped I think they're doing like a draw for some of the shows, for some of the matches, aside from the one main event or the two main event matches. So that's interesting. I always thought that would be an interesting way to do things. I guess they want people who can adapt to the situation, or I guess, I don't know.
So is it going to be like an old WCW Lethal Lottery type thing?
I'm not sure. They just haven't really informed us of who our opponents are going to be yet.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, so you got to just be ready. You know what I mean?
All right. Drew, do you have any other questions for Appollo Starr? Poison Appollo Starr?
Well, you know, of course, you and I have discussed it several times, but let the people know, you know, some of the goals and some of the things you got planned and looking forward to doing outside of the shows, but just what you got going on.
Just progressing, man. I just want to, you know, work in as many promotions as possible. I'd still like to get out overseas. I like to still wrestle in Japan, and I still like to wrestle in Europe, and just want to keep pushing forward, man. Keep learning, you know what I mean? Keep wrestling, keep entertaining fans. That's what it's all about. Try, you know, teach younger wrestlers the right way to do it, and, you know what I'm saying, keep pushing forward, entertaining fans as long as I can.
Right on.
Well, I've got a question for you. How did you get the nickname Poison?
I made it up. It was my wrestling name that I thought of for myself. You know what I mean? When I first started, I thought that I'd be called Poison Appollo Starr, and I went with it.
So it's
the name that I made up for myself. Excuse me?
It's not a Belle Biv DeVoe reference or anything?
No, but that was one of my favorite songs at one time. So maybe subconsciously, just a little bit, it has something to do with it.
Well, excellent, excellent. Hey, tell our listeners how they can follow your career, social media, anything like that.
Well, social media, I'm Appollo Q Star on Facebook. That's really it. I don't have a lot of social media things. I just got the Facebook that Drew hooked up for me about a year ago.
Nice.
Yeah, you know, I can be followed on Facebook though. You can keep up with me there.
Well, that's
Appollo Q Star.
And this coming Saturday night, you've got a big show in Seymour, Indiana, with Emerge Pro Wrestling, but you're not sure who you're taking on because they want to keep you on your toes, right?
Yeah, I guess they're trying to keep everybody on their toes except for, you know, the matches that they've announced already. So I guess they're trying to keep us on our toes and let us be ready for whatever. And that's cool. I mean, I can adapt and adjust. I've been wrestling a long time.
Well, and then the following
I'm not worried.
The following weekend, on Friday, March 20th, Soul Shooters are going to be up in Strong Style Wrestling, and the Soul Shooters are the number one tag team for Strong Style Wrestling. Do you guys know who you're taking on that night? Yeah,
we're Anthony Totali and Ace Perry.
Oh, that's right, Ace Perry, who a lot of us know from IWA Mid-South, so that's great. Got two young up-and-comer guys. You going to use your veteran advantage over them?
Yeah, that's the plan.
It's unfortunate that they ran into a brick wall so early in their rise.
Now, do you have anything to combat their manager, Kenzie Alexander? You got anybody to watch your backs on the outside?
Well, remember, we are the Circle City Collabo, and all four members will be there that night. So worrying about numbers is the last thing that we're going to do. But Kenzie might want to worry about numbers.
Yeah.
And what she's going to do when she's left at ringside all by herself.
Whatever will we do with little Kenzie stalking the outside of the ring?
She's still a teenager, isn't she?
Who cares? She better pack her extra
probably.
Now, we all know that Dru Skillz is the Heroes and Legends champion. He's the only champion they've ever had. Now, Appollo, is that going to be versus the Nasty Boys? Is that going to be your premiere in that territory?
No. Remy and I wrestled at Heroes and Legends 3 against Sean Cook and Dylan Bostic.
Okay. OVW's Dylan Bostic. Okay. All right, cool. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing you there again. Well, anything that you want to let your fans know about? Anything you want to say to them?
Oh, yeah, man. Come check us out. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be going strong. We're going to be down at Smash Mouth in Valparaiso on Friday. We got a merge, or I got a merge on the 14th. So what?
No, go ahead.
Can't hear you.
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, Smash Mouth on the 13th. Got a merge on the 14th. The next week, we'll be out of Strong Style, defending our Strong Style tag team titles against Totali and Ace Perry. And the 21st, we'll be defending our New Era Wrestling tag team titles at New Era Wrestling in Shelbyville, Indiana. So we're just out there working, man.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Zane, let me ask you a question real quick. Are you familiar with AIWF, Zane?
Oh, the IWF. I'm not. Where are they based out of?
The AIWF. AIWF.
No, I'm not that familiar with them. Where are they based out of?
They got their. I don't know where they're calling their home base, but they kind of do like an old NWA gimmick where they have the different shows. You know, they're the umbrella company.
I'm not familiar with them. I need to do some research.
Right on. Well, I just want, we've been the number one contenders for the World Tag Team titles for over a year. And I was just going to use this form to say, give us our title shot, chumps.
Yeah, no doubt. Title shot for the AIWF tag titles. Let's get it popping.
Well, let's make that happen. Let's put it out there. AIWF. Let's get the Soul Shooters their championship shot.
That's right.
No doubt.
All right. Well, thank you. I want to thank our special guest host tonight, the incomparable Dru Skillz, for joining us tonight. I want to thank our guest, Cliff Compton, for Mr. 1859 for coming on and spending a little bit of time with us, and Mr. Appollo Q Starr, thank you so much for being on this night. And I want to let our listeners know that next week we will have the Nightmare Danny Davis, head of Ohio Valley Wrestling, will be on with us. And in the second hour, we're going to have Dru. I know you know who this guy is. Apollo, are you familiar with Gregory Iron?
Yeah, I know who Gregory Iron is.
Yeah, we've got him on next week, and hopefully his tag team partner Zach Gowen will make a run in too. So very exciting show next week.
Now, if Zach gets on, then you got to ask him, because the Soul Shooters are officially Zach Gowen's favorite tag team.
Really?
Indeed, we are.
So you'll have to ask him.
How did you get that distinction?
That he told us.
Yeah, he gave it to us.
Yeah, so you are my favorite tag team. So there you have it. Zach Gowen's favorite tag team is the Soul Shooters.
Have you guys? Obviously, you've worked with Zach Gowen. Have you ever worked a battle royal with him?
No, never been in a battle royal with him.
I would think that he would win every single battle royal that he was in, because isn't part of the stipulation that both feet have to hit the floor?
Zane.
No, I'm not being rude. I'm saying you should use that as a gimmick. I think it would be awesome.
I love it.
I have nothing but respect.
You can never lose,
guys. I think they're. So I just think that he should use that as a gimmick, that he wins all of his battle royals.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being on. And next week we've got Zach Gowen, Gregory Iron, and the Nightmare Danny Davis. Check out tshirtworldorder.com. Use the special code Domino in all caps. Save a few dollars. Thank you so much. Killer Kev, hit the music.
Take care, guys.